Hello students, in this lecture I will discuss about the array. First I will discuss about array because in the previous lecture I have discussed about the functions and various aspects of functions, how function works and uh, when the function execute, then how we can pass parameters and what are various actual parameters and formal parameters. We have discussed these things in the previous lecture. uh, Before going to further discussion about function, first I will discuss about array because further when you will study about function, then you have to pass array into function. Then how you pass array into function if you don't have knowledge about array? So first I will discuss about array, what are array and what are its applications. So in the previous basic lectures, I have discussed about the variables. Suppose you write integer a. What does it means? Integer a means a is a kind of variable which is of integer type, and you can store uh, a single value at the place of variable a. Means only one value you can assign to a only. But suppose you have to store marks of students, marks of various subjects of students, then how you will store? So for this purpose, the concept of array uh, evolved. So as you see the definition, an array is a collection of identical data elements which are stored in consecutive memory allocation under a common name. What does it means? Array is a collection of identical means similar type of data. You can say homogeneous elements which are stored in consecutive memory location. Means कि when you declare array, you will have to declare the size, how many numbers you want to store, how many memory allocation you want to create. So after creating, you have to give one name. Means under one name you can create number of memory allocation where you can store number of elements. So for this purpose, the concept of array is evolved. So an array is a collection of identical data elements or homogeneous type of data elements which are stored in consecutive memory location under a common heading, or you can say common name. The individual value in an array are called its elements. Arrays are set of same type which have a single name followed by an index. In C language, a square bracket appears around the index right after the name, with the first elements referred to be the number. So the individual elements of the group are accessed by their position number in the group. C supports arrays for this purpose. An array is a data structure. You can say array is a linear type of data structure with the help of which you can refer to and perform operation on a collection of similar data item such as simple list or table of information or a collection of marks of 50 students, like that. So you can see the example here. This is the declaration of an array. Here the name of array is A and the size of an array is 10, and the type of array A is of integer type. What does it mean? The name array A which can hold 10 elements which are of integer type. So in this declaration example you can see here the int is a data type, a is the variable name, that is you can say here in this case array name, and the value 10 is written. It indicates that this array A can hold 10 elements which are similar type, that is of integer type. Classification of an array. Array is classified in basically two parts, two categories. Number one is one dimensional array. Second one is multi-dimensional array. Some person says one dimensional array and two dimensional array. Here two dimensional array and three dimensional array, four dimensional array, n dimensional array are also comes under the category of multi-dimensional array. So basically the basic classification of array is one dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. In case of multi-dimensional array, it may be two-dimensional array, it may be three-dimensional array, and it may be n-dimensional array. So, in case of one-dimensional array, there is only a single row and number of columns. But in case of two-dimensional array, suppose I am taking example of two-dimensional array, it may have number of rows and number of columns. Further, I will discuss about the concept of multi-dimensional array. First, I will discuss about one-dimensional array. So, one-dimensional array are suitable for processing of list of items of identical type, which are similar types. They are very useful for problems that require the same operations to be performed on a group of data. An array can be declared in C language just like any other variable. Normal variables. Suppose I told you integer a. That is normal variable which can hold only single value. The definition consists of type, array name and size. As you can see in the example, the array name, its data type and its size. So first you have to write the data type of the array, then you have to indicate the name of array, and you have to write the size of the array. The square brackets are used to delimit the array size. The array has to be positive integer constant. Here you can see like int marks 5. What does it mean? This declaration means that list is an array of 5 memory allocation, each of which is of integer type. Once this declaration is obeyed, we get a group of 5 locations of integer type in the memory of the computers. You can see in the figure. So in the figure you can see there are 5 memory allocations. 5 memory allocations. So the name of array is marks. The type of array is integer type. Data type is integer, and the size of marks is 5. I have given here assigned marks and the location of each memory block is marks start from 0, that is marks 0, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, marks 4. Here you can see in the slide this 50 marks stored at marks 0 location. Means first block indicates 0. Means you can say marks 0. Suppose you are going to print marks 50, then you have to write here marks 0. When you print marks 0, it will print 50. When you print marks and bracket 1, then it will indicate marks 60. So the size of array is 5 here, and the location which start from 0, that is block 1 is indicated by 0, that is also called subscript. So then block 1 is indicated by 0, block 2 is 1, block 3 is by 2, block 4 is by 3, and block 5 is 4. Suppose there are n number of blocks in an array, then the subscript will be end at n minus 1. In this case here the block size is 5, and the subscript, last subscript indicated as 4, because of subscript in case of array start from 0, and the subscript or size it will indicated in square bracket. So in this example, you can see here, suppose you have to store a particular marks of a student of 5 subjects, then you can store here. You can see here, there are 5 locations, and here you can store 5 marks which are similar types, that is of integer types only. Now, with the help of subscript, I have taken here example just to indicate. Suppose I already told you marks 0 is equals to 50, marks 1 is equals to 60, and marks 4 is equals to 90. So you can say here marks 4 is 90. Yes. Suppose you have to print 90, then you have to write in printf, that is marks 4. So in this slide, I show you how to declare array, and how memory allocated, and how subscript automatically is generated, and how you can access the elements of array, and the syntax of array declaration of one dimensional array, that is data type, then array name and size. There are some points you have to always keep in mind, and these points are array have 0 as the first index, not 1. In this example, marks 0 is the first element. If the size of an array is n, I already explained you, to access the last element, the n minus 1 index is used. In this example, marks 4 is that is size of 5, and marks 4 subscript is 4 is, that is n minus 1. Suppose the starting address of mark 0 is 1100, then the address of mark 1 will be 1102. What does it mean? Why the difference of 2 is here? Because of the array marks is of integer type, and you already know the data type integer acquire space in memory is of 2 bytes. So you can see here it will differ 2 byte in each subscript, in each block. Suppose marks 0 means first block's address is 1100, then the second block's address will be 1102, and the third block's address will be 1104, like that. It will increase by 2. Suppose the type of array is float, then the float size is float acquire 4 bytes in memory, so it will acquire 4 bytes, and the difference between the addresses will be 4 bytes in each block. Suppose you declared float marks 5, then the address will be 1100 of initial block, and the next block address will be 1104 in case of float type of data type. Here there is a simple example of variable, how you declare array, how you assign values to an array. In this case here, it is also a manner by which you can initialize marks. You have to write int, then arrays name size is equals to start curly brace, then with the help of comma you have to separate the values, each values. Now you will save the program, execute program, then you will find that the value 0, value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4. If you print the values like this, then the output will be first statement will be 40, and the output of the second statement, that is value 1, will be 50, and the output of The third, that is value 2, will be 60 because the index of an array will start from 0. So the size of array is 5. So index will start from 0 and go to 4. So to clear more concept, we just uh, go to C editor and type program, and you can execute program and you can see the output. Whenever you will execute the program, then you will have clear the concept of array, how we can declare array, how we can assign value to array, how we can access the elements of an array. This is the second example. In this case, I want to show you the another type array declaration. As I have told you here, the array also can be declared like this and can be assigned the value like this, but this is the another method by which you can declare the values. I also described this pattern previously. So in this case, the name of array is value and the size of array is 5. The type of array is int, means you can store integer type of value in this array. So in this example, you can assign the value dynamically during runtime. As you know the concept of for loop, how loop works, I told you in previous lectures. Now here I am going to assign the value to the array using for loop at runtime. So you can see here, first I have declared here the array, that is value which size is 5. Now it will prompt the message whenever you will execute program, enter 5 integers. This message will prompt. So it will start loop. Loop start from I equals to 0 and it will go to less than 5 because you have to receive only 5 value, that is from 0 to 4, which is of array index, and then I will increase. So you will have to enter 5 values and array will be initialized. So whatever value you enter from keyboard, so I have taken here values 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Whatever value you will enter from keyboard, it will be stored in the consecutive form in the memory, and whenever you print the values, also you have to use the for loop. Here I have taken the for loop. I will start from 0 because of index of an array start from 0, and in case of condition I less than 5 because of the last index of an array is 4, I4. So it will execute 5 times 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, means 5 times, and after each execution it will increase the value of I. So you can see the output. Suppose you will enter the value like this, then you will a result like this. So I advise you to write the program and execute it, so that you can clear the concept properly. Now I will show you next example. With this example I want to make you understand that suppose you ask what is the utility of the storing marks at the consecutive place by referring the same name. So I want to show you here. Suppose there are marks of 10 subjects, and suppose you want to find out the average. Suppose you want to calculate the average of marks. Then how you will find the average? So in traditional case, you have to take 10 variables. You have to take 10 variables and you have to assign each marks to individual variables. So it is very cumbersome, very tedious process. It will time taking process. But in case of array, you have to just declare an array of 10 size. Suppose there are 10 marks and you are going to calculate the average. So whenever this program will execute, it will prompt a message, enter the number of elements, how many number of elements are there. So suppose there are 10 elements, 10 numbers. So whenever you enter 10, then it will assign to n. Why n is required here? Because of the size of array. So you can see in the for loop, I is less than n, I have taken n, means whatever value you will print, then that time number of time it will execute. So the size of array 10, then I will enter here the n equals n, value of n is 10. So what is the use of this concept? Because you have taken this array size of array 10 elements, and you also you are going to enter the value 10 which assigned to n. So just I want to clear is that suppose next time when you execute the program and you want just to find out the average of only 5 numbers, so you just enter the 5 and 5 will assign n, and the for loop will execute 5 times only. So to make it easier, you just take an integer marks 50. So you can calculate the average of 50 marks, you can calculate the average of 20 marks, whatever number so you want to calculate average, you can calculate it easily. That's why here I have taken the variable n. Now suppose you want to calculate the marks of only 5 students. Just to enter the value of n is 5, then the for loop will execute 5 times. Then it will prompt message enter numbers. Now here you have to enter the values. So whatever values you will enter here, it will scan and it will store the location of marks I. So first I will be 0, so it will store first marks at marks 0, then it will I become 0, I become 1, and whenever you enter the second marks, it will store at the next location. Like this all the marks will stored in an array. And the third statement is that is sum plus equals to. Here this is shorthand operator. I told you the concept of this shorthand operator in previous lectures. So it will again and again it will add the marks and store in the sum variable. So finally when the loop will exit, some variable contains the sum of all numbers and the average is equals to, then it will exit from the for loop, and here another formula is written, average equals to sum upon n. Then average is a type of variable. First you have to declare, you have always keep in mind, you have I have declared also sum equals to 0, average also you assign the average equals to 0. It become easier to compiler, become less complex when you assign average equals to 0, but it is optional, no need. So that's why I have written directly average equals to sum upon n. So whatever sum calculated, it will divided by the n. Suppose you calculate, you added 5 marks, then it will be divided by 5. That's why I have taken n value. So after calculating average, it will display the average of all students. So now you can see the advantage of the array, why we can use array, how we can declare array, how we can there are two manner by which you can declare array. One is static. I shown you in the slide, with the help of curly braces you can separate the all values with the help of commas, that is a static allocation of array. And next manner I told you, you can declare array and its size with this type, and with the help of for loop you can assign the variable, you can store the values in an array. And with the help of this example I told you the utility of an array. Suppose you want to calculate the average of all the students, a specific number of students, you can calculate the average. You just go to C editor and type the program, then you will clear the concept. Here the output of the program, so it will prompt the message, enter the number of elements. You will suppose you want to find average of 5 students, then I have enter here the values, and after the initializing values will sum and store in the sum variable, and finally it will calculate the average and display. So in this lecture I told you the concept of array, utility of an array, how is it differ from normal variable. In case of normal variable, I can store only single value, we can handle single value. But suppose you want to store the list of students, because array may be a character type, array it may be float type, it may be of integer type, it may be different type, it will fulfill the user's different type of needs. So suppose you want to store the marks of 50 students, then array become more helpful for users, for programmers, because with the help of array you can create memory allocation of number of blocks which can store similar type of elements, similar type of values simultaneously, consecutively in memory allocation. So it will become to calculate anything, to perform various kind of operations by the compiler become so easier. Okay, now I will show you how to initialize an array, how to access the elements of an array with the help of some real examples. So in this example you can see here there is one array declared which is size is 5. This is called declaration. So one method is how to initialize an array is, you can see here in the example, it will prompt to user enter the first element, and it will scan the value, and whatever value user will print here, it will stored at A0, because the index will start from 0, A0. Okay, suppose you want to store at A1, then it will scan at A1. Now you can print the elements which is stored at A1. Now next message, enter the second elements, you can scan the value which is stored at A2. Now you can print the value which is stored at A2. So in this case suppose this is first elements, and you will print first element A0, and second element is A1. So you can write here, you can print here A1. Now first I will save it, I will compile it, successful. Now let me run the program, enter the first element. I have entered like 5, so the first element is 5. Enter the second element, suppose I have entered here 10, then it will print 10, because the index of an array start from 0. So this is one method by which we can initialize array. We can store a value at a particular space in an array. Suppose here there is an array which is size is 5 elements, means it can store 5 elements in an array. So from 0 to 4, because index will up to n minus 1, so it will start from 0. So in this case, whatever value you want to store at any place within the range from 0 to 4, you can store elements and you can print element. Suppose here you have scanned, you have printed here 5, so it will store at A0. as I shown you in the previous slide, the correct position of the elements. So this is address operator. It will store at A0, address of A0. And next element, whatever you will enter here, suppose you enter here 10, then it will store at A1 place. So the same place value I have printed also here. So this is one method by which you can initialize value to array and you can print the value. Now another method is I want to show you here, that is int. Like this you can also initialize. Suppose int a5 is equals to 5 6 7 8 9. There are 5 elements I have sliced here. So you can no need to actually print here the message, no need to scan the values because values initialized by you already. So just let me delete these messages. Now just like that you can print the values here. Shift insert and another, let me insert some more values. Okay, now there are 5 values and I have to print 5 values. So just change the index to now 3 here, and this is the position 4. In this case you can see the initialization. This initialization is called static initialization. Once I have initialized the value, then we cannot change the values. We can change the value in the program only. So you can see the index here A0, A1, A2, A3, A4. So when I will execute this program, it will print the values accordingly. So in this case you can see here all the elements are separated by commas, and one thing which is always you should keep in mind here, in this type of initialization you have to use curly braces, not parentheses, otherwise it will show error. So let me compile the program. There is an array, multiple declaration. Okay, there is no need here this, because of multiple declaration it may happen. So only this statement is sufficient. So first save it, then compile it, this success, then run the program. Yes, again run. Now you can see 5 6 7 8 9. You can see the result here. The result is printed accordingly because values are 5 6 7 8 9. So there are two methods I explain you here. One method is runtime initialization, means it will prompt message, user have to enter the value one by one. And another method is you can initialize values statically. So once you initialize, you have to print the value which you want. Suppose you don't want to print value of A3 and 4, then don't write this statement. There is no need to write. You have to write the statements only which positions value you want to print. So this is the example of 1D array. 1D array means here one dimensional array. You can see only one row and multiple columns. But there is another array that is called 2D array, where in previous slide I explained you about 2D array. So I want to just show you an example of 2D array. So in this example I want to just show you how to initialize 2D array and how to print the elements. So here let me delete it. Yes. So in case of 2D array, there is row and column also, and told you how to initialize 2D array. Now I want to show you how it works. So in this case, you just see here, there are two variables ij, and there is one array which is of 3 means 3 row and 3 columns. So I have taken help of for loop. So this is outer for loop. This is for rows, number of rows, there are 3 rows, and this loop is for use columns. So here the for loop j is execute under the for loop I. So this loop is also known as nested loop. First loop I will execute, it will check condition, then it will jump to next loop. Then first this loop will complete, j loop will complete, then it will increase I, value of I, then also again it will complete its all steps, then it will go to I, and it will execute until the condition is true. So in this case you can see here I equals to 0, I less than 3 because of rows are 3, and j is equals to 0 and j is less than 3 because of the columns are also 3. So it will prompt message enter the elements of array A, and user have to enter here scanf %d because of integer type of value, ampersand aij. What does it mean? aij, this is the location. This step indicate the location of elements which user will enter. Here I0 and J0. So the location is A00. So whatever user enter here, it will store at A00. Then J will increase, J become 1. Now I still 0, 0, 1. It will next value will store 0, 1, and then J increases, J become 2. So I still 0, and next position is 0, 2. So J, when J become 3, it will jump to again Y. Oh sorry, I loop. Now I will increase, I become 1. Again J will execute 3 times. Then when J exit, it will again I become 2. Then also J equals to 0. It will change the values from here. So in this type, first J complete all the steps, then it will increase I, then again J will complete all the steps, then again I will increase, and when I will become 3, then it will exit the loop. Whenever it will exit the loop, it will jump to this loop. And another statements for just to print the values. Now you can see here there are also 2 loops, the same loops here, and I have printed here values A of ij. Now first I become 0, J become 0, first it will print 0, 0, then J become 1, 0, 1, then J become 2, then 0, 3. Like this all these values will printed by this loop. So students, you are advised to please just dry run the program. First you should write this program at your copy, and then dry run it. You just clear the concept how it works. I once again explain you. First it will become I0 and condition is true, then it will jump to J loop, because this loop is works as a treated as a statement of for I loop. So J become I, it will also check the condition, then again then it will jump to this statement. It will print the value of A, I, J. Here I and J both are 0, so it will print A 0, 0. Then J increase, condition also true, then again will print 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. Then again J become 2, then it will again print. So like this it will print again and again all the values until the condition is true. So let me first compile it Alt C to compile, Alt R to run. Now enter the elements of array A. Whatever value I will print in sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So because of the array size is 3 cross 3, so means 3 rows and 3 columns. Then it can store 3 3 is 9 elements. So as soon as you enter the 9 element, it will print the results. So you can see the example. I have entered here 9 values and it will print like this. So now you see the program here. During the printing of elements, I have used here another extra statement, so that it will change the line. Otherwise it will print in the sequence in a particular memory. All the elements are stored sequentially. Just to convert in matrix, I have to print because in the form of matrix. That's why I have used here printf statement. Otherwise just see the example. Let me comment this. Now I again compile the program, again execute the program. In this case I will print the value. You can see the result. It will do not change the line. So you can see here all the elements are printed in single line, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. And in computer's memory all these elements are stored sequentially. But just to print in the matrix form, I have used the statement printer. First it will print one line, then it will change the line, then again I will increase, J again execute 3 times, then next it will print line, one lines, then again I become 2, then again J execute 3 times. Like this all the steps performed until the condition is not false. So you can see in this example, this is the example of 2D array, how to initialize 2D array and how to print the values of 2D array.